Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome back to NAWBO on the Go. With me today, I have the chair of our C3 board, Deanna Novak, with me, talking about something everyone can do to help yourself, but we don't. And I'm so excited to talk about this topic. Miss Deanna Novak, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you. Okay, so y'all, we're talking today about the importance of stepping away from your desk, getting away from your big, huge, ginormous computer screen, and just taking in a new view to help with your creativity, to help with your problem solving, all the things. So, Deanna, why does stepping away actually help improve your creativity and problem solving?
It's such a great question. There's something about changing our environment that seems to open up our thinking. And this can happen anytime, anywhere. But what struck me is over the years as a writer, what I've noticed is some of my best ideas have come when I stop trying to force myself to have one. And that usually happens when we're sitting at our desk and staring at our computer for hours on end. So I've found that when I go for a walk or sit out by my pool or when I'm traveling, something changes, something shifts, and I have different ideas. I have different questions. I start thinking of things differently. So I think that it's really that change of environment, change of scenery that opens up those creative wavelengths.
Perfect. And this is good not only for writers, but business owners as well. Yes?
Absolutely. I used to work with someone, she owned a background screening company, and she used to call them her shower thoughts
Mm-hmm.
because she would say she would have the best thoughts every morning while she was taking her shower. And of course, she had nowhere to write them down, but she would come in and be like, I have to talk to somebody about this because it's a great idea. And we talked about it often that she's like, I could be sitting here for 8 or 9 hours and not have had that same thought that I just had in 5 minutes this morning.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I used to the kids' shower crayons. I had
Yeah,
them and would have them
that's
in
a
the
great
shower with
idea.
me so I could write on the wall as
That's
something came to me. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Been
Yeah,
there, done that. Yeah.
yeah, I love that idea. I want to get those shower crayons. But it's so
Yeah.
true. I think it's sometimes a little more obvious for writers because, when you're staring at a blank page on your screen, it's pretty obvious that your creativity is not, up to speed. But it's for everybody because even when I think of strategic development or talking about your purpose or vision or making some decisions about your business that involves some creativity, you need
Hmm.
that time and space.
Yeah, or if you overthink something, you
Uh,
can just
for sure.
step away from it. So why? Why do new environments spark fresh ideas?
Um, I think there is something again about when we take ourselves out of our routine, and put ourselves in a different place, that it sparks curiosity. And to me, when you're curious about things, that's really when those new ideas start to bubble, right? You're asking questions, you're seeing things from a different light. You're having different conversations even with others, and you start noticing things a little bit differently than you would if you're sitting at your desk all day and
Hmm.
just reacting to emails and texts and calls and Zooms. It
Yeah.
just you're giving yourself some space in conjunction with a different environment that I think really does spark that creativity.
And it's so important. It's
It
so
is.
important. Yeah. So, what happens when people don't do this?
I think that's where you really start seeing people kind of fall into that rut from
Yeah.
getting burnt out. I feel like it's, those days where you were productive, but you're just so exhausted at the end of the day. You have no energy, you feel depleted. You're, as busy entrepreneurs, we all know we're trying to do so many things at once. And no matter how productive we are, we just have that feeling of burnout.
Ugh. Yeah.
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 So can we stay in that rut of being reactive and instead of creative? And I think when we're creative, it fuels our energy and our passion. Again, we remember why we're doing what we're doing, why, for writers, why we're writing what we're writing, and who it's for business owners, why we're in business and what we want to do to move our business forward.
Hmm.
That all of that strategy comes from creativity and comes from having bigger ideas than we do probably in our daily work.
I love that. Yeah, we all have to get back and remember that why. And
Yeah,
sometimes you have to step away from everything to really be able to soak that in.
yeah, for sure.
So, you're hosting a writing retreat.
I am.
Oh my
Talk about
gosh.
passion.
I know. And how you've attended writing retreats in the past.
I have, yes,
Yes.
yes. The past
For,
several years, giving kind of same along the same lines, just on a
mhm.
little bit of a bigger scale of, not the local coffee shop, but actually going somewhere that really inspires you. Um, yeah, to right there.
Yeah. And so the writing retreat that you're hosting, um, talk to me about that.
I would
Why do
love to.
you think this kind of environment helps people reconnect with their creativity?
So it's interesting. I feel like when people go to a retreat, when writers in particular, they feel like they need to give themselves time to write, and they do. Don't get me wrong, but what it really comes down to is they need to give themselves space to think, and that's half the battle, right? Because
Yeah,
otherwise you're staring at that blank screen again. And that's what to me these retreats do is they provide inspiration when you're doing it in such a beautiful place like Tuscany that to me everywhere you look is a postcard or a painting. You're giving yourself time to actually get writing done, but you're also giving yourself that space to think differently and a little bit clearer about what you're doing and why and who it's for, which is a big part of writing anything really, but in particular books.
hmm,
So I think when you open yourself up to experiences like that, your reflections are deeper, your conversations are deeper, the curiosity again is a little bit deeper and just allows you time to think in a different way with different perspective.
I love that. So, for those that want to hear more about Deanna's Writers Retreat, we're going to put the link to that in the show notes so
That's
you can
amazing.
go learn
Thank
more
you.
about that. What is one simple way someone can create that kind of creative space without hopping on an airplane?
Okay. Well, I would love them to hop on an airplane with me, but yes, it doesn't always have to be flying across the ocean or flying anywhere for that matter. You don't even
Hmm.
have to get in your car. I just think that, again, closing your laptop, going for a walk, sitting outside somewhere, just doing something that is completely separate in a completely different space than your desk. Get out of your office for sure. And don't take your phone because they're
Don't
just
take your phone.
right? Mini computers, we're still doing
Hmm.
the same things with our emails and texts and getting the notifications, or we're scrolling social media, none of which is going to help your creativity.
Yeah,
You know, just sit or take a walk, think. And I think that it doesn't, like I said, have to be complicated. But that in and of itself, just that change of scenery often will kind of spark an idea and you're going to feel refreshed to go back and get started.
I love that. I am so happy you hung out with me today
I'm so
and
happy too.
talked about this. It's so much fun.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I love this conversation. I do think it's important, like I said, not just for writers, for all of the busy entrepreneurs out there and business owners that, we need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves and getting that creativity back and having some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it so much. Everyone, thank you as well for joining us today. And again, if you want more information on Deanna's retreat, we're going to put the link in show notes. But as always, thank you for joining us today and listening. And I will see you back here super soon for our next episode. Have a great day.
Thank you.